Here we go.
The other big story this week is it's kind of a headline that I think people blew out of proportion out there. Andrew, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's Sony Music Entertainment started a new publishing label.
Yeah.
And they picked up a game called Tiny Metal that will be coming to PS4, PC, and Switch. And so I think people took that info and jumped to this incredible leap about Sony publishing games on Switch and how it was part of this new strategy.
PlayStation is going third party?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quite that intense. I think
sensationalist.
They wanted sort of a quick. Are you all right?
No, it's just, like while you were talking, I just drank like this.
You spilled water all over your
He paired a spit take when he said Sony was doing third party.
That's right. So, but Tiny Metal was a game that was in development for the Switch already. We saw it actually at PAX, right? It was playable there. It is a take on Advance Wars. And so it is true. Sony is making games for a Nintendo platform, for the Nintendo Switch, right?
Well, and again, Sony's publishing games being made for Nintendo. Like, it's not, again, this isn't like a first-party Sony game. It's not like you're getting Uncharted on Switch or anything crazy like that. This is just Sony kind of putting out its arms into the indie world and making a smaller label for maybe like slightly smaller tier games.
And they've been, like Nintendo, Sony has been making moves in the mobile space before, right? And has published games outside their core PlayStation platforms. Obviously, Sony also under the Sony Ericsson label has done stuff on mobile before, has supported more platforms. I just thought it was really interesting. First of all, the fact that they picked this up and they didn't say, you know what, Tiny Metal just Area 35, the developer, published Tiny Metal for the Switch outside of this umbrella. We will handle the other two versions. They didn't do that. They basically took it all on. And it is a really cool footnote in gaming that this has actually happened a couple of times before. And I thought it would be fun to go over some of the examples of that. Obviously, way back when, Sony ImageSoft, right up to the release, I think, of the PlayStation, was a Super NES supporter. Unfortunately, making some of the worst games on the Super NES, but Sony ImageSoft, whenever
They were
I saw the logo,
sabotaging it.
Yeah. But they,
After that deal went south.
That's how you take that competition out. You put bad games on the other system, and then you launch that PlayStation.
But they
Go for
did
the
so
throat.
even after they announced a split from Nintendo, right? Nintendo, Sony were collaborating on hardware before. They announced a split, and they were still making the games like almost up to the release of the PlayStation. So there's one. But of course, the biggest Microsoft title possible is on Nintendo Switch and was on other Nintendo platforms, and that's Minecraft.
Yeah.
So, that's one of those weird gaming history moments where a company buys a huge brand and it's just, you just can't dial it back, right?
Yeah,
there was a Switch in the Microsoft press conference.
Exactly.
Right?
There was a Switch in the Microsoft press conference built in that Minecraft trailer. But even seeing on Nintendo.com under the publisher section, seeing Microsoft listed there is just so surreal to me.
It reminds me of when they ported Banjo-Kazooie what was it? Banjo Nuts and Bolts, right? And then they also Banjo-Kazooie and also Conquer have like idle animations where like they'll pull out a GBA or like a DS, and you're like, hey, wrong system. Like, it's kind of cute. Like, I love seeing that stuff.
And Here we go. Thank you for watching our discussion. That was just a small part of Nintendo Voice Chat, our weekly Nintendo show. You can find it at youtube.com/Nintendo Voice Chat or on IGN every Friday.